So it has to be a large multicultural pushback.
Rosalind?
Because...
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
No. I didn't want to cut you off. I thought you was done, Rosalind. I didn't want to cut you off, sweetie. Go ahead.
No, I was done. I was just going to repeat myself, I'm sure.
No, I'm just going, y'all, I'm an old Southern boy, and you know what? I think there needs to be a lot of different perspectives to this. I've been around for a minute. I'm an old geezer. I know it. And I'm of the mindset, you know what? Let these white folks and these Hispanics that sang for Donald Trump, now they're getting deported, let them go march. Let the Asian people go march. Let them go do that. And we need to actually fortify Black America and actually learn how to take care of ourselves and put ourselves in a better financial position, actually learn how to extricate finance and wealth out of the system intelligently, and work on building infrastructure. I think that's what we need to do. But I'm with Sandra. I'm like, soon as we show our black face out there, we catching the bullets first. Because I believe that the reason why he is actually putting guns in the hand, somebody said they got pulled over by a Nissan Sentra or a Toyota Corolla or something. And I'm like, the reason why this is happening...
Just existing.
The reason why he wants to do this is because he wants to heighten the temperature to a powder keg. And I believe that Black people have been here long enough to go about this intelligently. And I think the most intelligent thing we can do is move in the shadows and actually do it from an administrative level. I'm not talking about political. We're far too intelligent, and we are far too smart to go about it a different way. And I know it's not a black and white. I know, I hear all of it. It's not a black and white thing, but I promise you right now, if DC was always not Chocolate City and it was some other city, we wouldn't be having these conversations. Really wouldn't be having this issue.
Yeah, you're right. They did the same thing in California, Pemberton.
You know, but because here's the point. Here's the point that I'm making.
They're not a state.
Here's the point that I'm making. Is if you look up crime statistics, DC is not even in the top 15. There are so many other red cities and red states that have a worse murder rate than DC. And my point is, if you want to do something about that, go get them other states first. They're not.
City.
It's a blue city.
With a black mayor.
Exactly, Queen. That's exactly what I'm saying. And to actually say this is everybody's problem, I'm sorry. I've been living too long. It's not. This is the way that they do what they want to do. And they did the same thing with segregation.
Can I ask you a question? How while you're talking about moving in the shadows and figuring out how to extract the financial or economic gain from the system, aren't you missing the point that the whole point or one of the goals of segregation was to keep us from participating in the economy? So if there...
Where did Queen go? Did she swipe herself out?
Maybe she swiped herself.
I've been getting knocked down ever since I came in the room. I've been knocked down 3 times. I mean, not knocked down, but
this app is wilding out. But I mean, she's right. It was to keep us out of the system.
As a person who lives in it.
No, I'm gonna throw it right to you, Ty. The fact of the matter is, they can't at this point because the doors that they left open for their children, we actually walk into the same doors. We can actually manipulate, just like he's manipulating the market. We can actually take advantage of the same thing. We have been doing it. I actually taught a 6-hour class on just Roots, the Roots app by itself. that is actually a REACH program that actually has the renters invest into funds and investors can invest into. It's solely in Atlanta. That's to keep Black people in their homes. It's an investing app. They have already actually passed out $4 million in dividends. It is happening in the financial sector. It is happening, and I think that's how Black people ought to move. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, as a person who lives in Virginia, who Trump called himself trying to go, this is how you know what y'all were saying earlier, they're saying about crime, because they ain't going in Ward 7 and 8, where the Black people are, where the poorest among us are. They hanging out in the tourist area. But again, going back to humanity, they're getting pushed back, as they should, right? But for us as a people, we don't have to necessarily be marching on the street as a form of resistance. Resistance comes in all different forms. So guess what? The CEO of Target stepped the fuck down, because y'all might see a few Black people there, but for the most part, Target lost so many millions of dollars on purpose, right?
Billions.
And so, right. So, there's other things we can do to organize and be collaborative and do the things we need to do, along with having the John Browns and the Righteous Wifes that want to join us. But for the most part, we ain't got to be necessarily in the street. But you see how, what is her name? The fucking drunk ass judge saying that they're not going to be federal crimes if residents of DC walk outside with their rifles and shotguns. They're not really talking about Black people, because I know Black people who legally have guns in DC with the permits and the actual paperwork. But I bet you they won't come outside.
We ain't stupid, Ty.
With their guns. Right, exactly.
Hey guys, I have an update on the Target CEO. So he's not leaving. He became executive chairman of the board, and his successor is his understudy. So keep fucking boycotting Target, because they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna change. It's the same mindset that's still on the board.
Oh yeah, the boycott's still on.
Yeah, just want to make sure you guys know, right? Keep it pushing,
Yeah, Jeremy.
We still making long ass lines at Costco, so don't worry.
Yeah, Jeremy. I talked about that on my podcast. It ticks me off because it's not a celebration. It's not even a victory, because the issue was not the CEO. The issue is the board and the way the board makes policies. And we can't claim victory over Target until the last Target store closes and they are run out of business. You can't claim victory until then, because guess what? All they did was offer up that dude and say, hey, it was his fault, and we don't think that he instituted DEI the right way, and when he took it back, it actually caused us to lose dollars. So guess what? We're going to fire him, which they didn't, like you said, Jeremy. And they're not going to tell the truth about that. We're going to fire him from being CEO. Please bring your Black dollars back to us, because we heard you and we fixed something, which is BS.
I'm curious to see how the lawsuits against Target by the shareholders play out. Because they're like, yo, you lost us a bunch of money. Yeah, that's a higher position.
Queen, did you knock yourself out?
Yeah, I'm back.
Wait, go ahead and finish your thought.
Hey, you guys.
You got
So
swiped
I'm
out.
back just a little bit, GA, because I do hear you that it's not a total victory and the last Target is closed. But I think if we along the way celebrate that we did things, then how do we, in the minds of folks who are trying to do that thing, what's wrong with counting it as a win? Especially if you participated by not going. If you don't ever get a chance to celebrate, or that it feels like you did something worth doing, then what's the point?
Because they play the long game and we keep celebrating the short game. That's why.
Okay, all right.
That's
I'm not talking about the long game. I'm talking about because the war. There's a whole war, but there was a battle there that can be celebrated, and I'm not sure why that can't be. Nobody said it was over, but to not acknowledge that because of something people got together to do, that and what's happening internally, whether he moved to another position or whatever. I think it's Michael. Michael had the hard stats on what happened since February, and there was a difference made. And why we can't celebrate that? Why say we can't? I don't get it. It's not about the whole. It's not about the war. It's the battle on the way to winning the war. And I'm confused why that. From your perspective as a business person, I just don't get it. Because you are a business person, but I'm talking about other people who are not business minded like you. If they participated and something happened, why can't that be celebrated?
Deborah, when I was a kid, I never celebrated that I gave a kid a black eye when he whipped my ass, when he drugged me up and down the street. And I leave the fight with a broken arm and a broken leg and a busted mouth. I don't celebrate. Well, I hit him 2 times, but he beat me for 45 minutes. Nah, you can't celebrate that. And I think we are so easily distracted as a culture when this is just how I feel. This is personal feeling. They playing in our face. They literally are playing in our face, saying, we know what you want, but what we gonna do is, we know you're not intelligent enough to know that this ain't a real solution, so we gonna just give you something, and we know y'all gonna have a couple barbecues and cookouts and celebrate, and Jamal Bryant is gonna preach and have people running up and down the aisle, and y'all gonna think y'all gotta win, and we gonna go about our business like we was before. That's what I don't
think you
like.
underestimate Black people. So, okay, I'm going to go on mute.
I don't think it's us to underestimate. But there's a portion that read the headline. That's anybody, right? They read the headline and they take it as is without looking into it, and then they just kind of rest. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure that everybody makes their decisions based on accurate information. That's it.
Yeah, go ahead, Queen. I was just going to say, we need to keep their foot on it. What you said, Jeremy, we need to keep our foot on their necks.
And nothing has changed, right? It's not personal about the CEO necessarily, who is now the head of the executive board, which is the highest position in a corporation, right? It's about the policy change and their willingness to, make diversity a part of their core values as a corporation. The hiring of, being inclusive and to make sure that, people can know that they value diversity and they don't, do discrimination as a core value. Like that means something, So I think that the it's superficial what happened to the CEO. It's really superficial.
Yeah, I'm not in disagreement with you guys.
It's for public relations, and
yeah, there's a such thing as a benchmark too, and you have to see some effect of what you're doing, whether or not it's working. And based on what Michael said the other day, he's here. I don't know if he can repeat those stats or whatever, if he wants to or not. But there is a such thing as a benchmark. And so, you have to see if what you're doing is making And not one said to stop or that we won, but to recognize that what we're doing, maybe I shouldn't say celebrate, but I think it's okay to recognize that it's impactful what we're doing.
It
to
is.
keep
Yeah,
going. It's not over. It's not over. But if you're making an impact, what's wrong with saying that out loud?
Yeah, I don't
And
have
being proud of that.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I do remember that from 23 to 24, they lost $3 billion. From 24 to 25, they lost $3 billion. And then so far this year, since February, they've lost $12 billion. So there's definitely a change this year.
I'm sure that, like, I get it and I agree. I'm sure that
Celebrate that.
during the bus boycotts, when at various stages or checkpoints or status meetings, when King would have to say, well, this is what's happening so far, and we're moving ahead, and like it was a good motivation for the people and the congregation. So yeah, I'm not opposed to none of that. It's just that he also at the same time had to remind people that it wasn't over and that there was a bigger fight, and so we got to kind of do both. As long as we're doing both, it's good.
Yes, ma'am.
Also, when they announced the new CEO, the stock actually went down because the investors didn't like the fact that they chose that person. So they lost even more money.
And to me, that's why it's so impactful, is because nobody had to open their mouth and do anything. We did an action. Stop going. We didn't have to do anything. We didn't have to sacrifice our body. We made a decision not to go, and it made a difference. And to me, that's impactful.
It was a little bit more difficult for me because Target's like 3 blocks away. I have to actually drive to go to the store now.
Deborah, I agree. And I started doing Shipt, which is a shopping service, and Shipt started at Target. So, I mean, I'm turning down tons of runs that I could be doing. I try to do a couple every day since I'm a retired lady. But I refuse to go to Target, so I ain't doing Target. So I've been going to Myers and Kroger's and stuff.
Shout out to Myers. Shout out to Myers. Old school Myers, where you could get a vacation, get your glasses, book your honeymoon, get your tires changed, get a tan, and buy the siding to your house all in one store. Shout out.
Right. And also just keep in mind, again, I think I said this the other day, because of the shape of the monopolies and the fact that there's been so much consolidation of companies, it's going to, two things. It's going to be very difficult to really cut off your engagement with the parent corporations of these businesses. Like, you may think that you're not supporting a business, but you actually may be, because again, they're all owned by the same parent corporation. But also, with the economic projections, people are probably not gonna. This is with the projections. You can expect that your expendable income is going to, not allow you to do much engagement with retail anyway. They've been saying that retail as a sector has been going down because of online shopping and the behemoth that is Amazon. So just keep these things in mind. There have been several informatic sheets that show the ownership and the conglomeration of who's affiliated with what. So, and it's crazy.
It gets more. Oh, sorry. It gets more insidious than that too, because like I don't want to give the Koch brothers any money, and the Koch brothers own a bunch of paper product companies, and so I looked up, which paper towel companies are owned by the Koch brothers, and so I don't buy those. But I found out recently that the Koch the Koch brand, one of their paper towel brands, whatever, they patented the half full, like the half sheet, and all paper towels have the half sheet. So whenever you buy paper towels, you're giving the Koch brothers money, and there's no way to avoid it unless you avoid paper towels.
Not trying to, bust anyone's bubbles or anything like that. I think that the more we're informed about these things, like we have to know the field. We have to know the battlefield. We have to know the lay of the land. We have to know what's going on so that we just again don't get lulled to sleep. And we can keep our eyes, steadied on what our objectives are, which is going to be difficult because there's no leadership, there's no central organizing like there was during the 60s, right? So we kind of have to depend on each other to make sure that we're informed about just like strategy and what's proving to be effective and what may not. But I say play your lane, whatever you're gonna do, because most people are not gonna do nothing. Whatever you're gonna do that and do it to death. You know what I mean? Just know we're pretty captured out here, and that's the reason why there were laws against monopolies and the robber barons, because it took away a lot of power from the citizenry. These battles were fought way early in the history of the country, because of the way the laws have been manipulated. We don't have as much power as we once did.
Lisa, I wish I had it like that. If I could pull together those kind of funds, because it would probably take close to about $2 trillion to make that happen. But if I had it like that, I promise you I would. I'd do it in a heartbeat. I would put a smaller store next to every single Target everywhere across the country that specialize in just Black-owned brands and call it Bullseye. I promise you I would, but I don't have it like that. And yeah, it's because my nickname is Petty LaBelle, Petty Murphy.